Okay. Um, have y'all seen the news about the TikTok psychic lawsuit? Because that lady lost $10 million today. $10 million because she wrongfully accused somebody of murder and then refused to stop accusing that person of murder. Sounds like a familiar situation, doesn't it? Man, do I wish I could afford a lawsuit. Jesus Christ. But okay, so not only can I not afford a lawsuit, which is why these people attack me, right? The people targeting me and accusing me of murder are smart enough to only target extremely poor people. The TikTok psychic made the mistake of targeting somebody who had a little bit of money. So I would never sue anyway because I couldn't afford it, but also I don't have the heart. Because the people who have accused me are, the majority of it, it's my family. And even though they're doing it to hurt me, I still don't want to hurt them. And that's all that suing would do. So that's the first reason. Secondly, I don't want to ever be responsible for other people's pain. Like, I don't want to be responsible for somebody losing their home or their job or anything like that. So that's why I could never see myself actually going to court over this. But just seeing that somebody else did take this almost exact same scenario to court and won on that substantial a basis gives me hope that the people accusing me, for one, will stop, because it's fairly clear now that it's a bad idea to just blithely accuse people of murder online, especially when the person you're accusing is completely innocent. And that it's just, it's something that never should have happened. It never should have been a thing. And it's very strange that it's a thing that's happening to so many people. Like, at what point did online creators just decide it was okay to accuse people of murder for content? I understand true crime is a huge thing, but at what point did y'all decide to shift to just creating your own true crimes? Fictional narratives and fictional worlds that you forgot to tell your viewers were fictional. For some of y'all that don't know, in 2009, I witnessed a murder of a woman named Roberta Laws. A man named Kenneth McBride had catfished me online to get me into the home. And it took me 5 weeks to escape him and go to the police. And even in records that the people accusing me read, they read that I escaped. Like, so I went to the police. I turned him in. I told them everything I knew. I was never charged. I was investigated. Obviously. I was in the house where somebody died and was buried in the backyard. They investigated me. They took my fingerprints. They got my DNA. They got my laptop, my phone. I gave them all of my passwords. I freely gave them everything. I never once asked for a lawyer. I was never once told that I should need one. I was never arrested. It was I was investigated because I was a witness and I was a part of the situation, not because I was ever actually like being investigated. Do you understand? Do you understand? Because the channels targeting me do not understand. And so when this went to trial, the man who committed the crime confessed. He had already confessed, but during the trial, just after they sent the jury out, just after I testified, apparently, I left and Mr. McBride asked to approach the judge. And at that time, he pled guilty, he confessed straight to the judge. So there is no question in anybody's mind who committed the murder of Roberta Laws, except in 2019 when Adonis Paul, Original Owl, Daywave Radio, Hatman, who was the other one working with my aunt? Irate Prostate. I believe they're dead now, so there's footage that can never be taken down by anybody because the person running the channel's gone. And all of that was instigated by my maternal aunt, who also has a channel on YouTube, Aunt Kathy's Storytime, who told these channels, hey, she's actually a murderer who got away with it and people don't know, and like you should help me out and let people know the truth. And the reality was that my family's abusive and she was lying to them to slander me and defame me because I was starting to speak out about my abusive childhood by writing an anonymous book. Didn't even have my name on it. It was so anonymous. I had just gotten housing. Like, literally, I was in the process of remembering what it was like to have a roof over my head and a tub and a bed and to feel safe, to have a lock on my door. I had spent 5 years sleeping on park benches, on sidewalks, in tents, having men touch me in my sleep, waking up to having men on top of me, having to fight, sleeping with my boots on so that I could fight the second I felt something was wrong. I had just gotten housing when these channels began accusing me and targeting me and making me feel unsafe once again. And it's been a nightmare. They've threatened to sue me because I wouldn't stop telling people that they were making my life miserable by accusing me of these things. They've targeted my disabled brother's grave. It's Friend exists because of the murder accusations. Like 2 years into this ordeal, I felt so lonely and depressed and devastated that I crocheted myself a comfort companion. My life has dramatically changed because of these accusations that these people have made about me. And it's knowing that something is being done about people like this, that a $10 million win for anybody means that nobody is going to continue these stupid fucking shenanigans just to make a little bit of money on any platform, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever the fuck they're using. You know, it's, and I've been saying that for years. The only thing that's going to stop people like this is forcing them to pay a lot of money. And we all know she's not going, you know, there's going to be a settlement. There's going to be a discussion at some point where she's going to make a deal and pay them $100 and never speak of it again and just vanish. But the idea, the concept that this kind of activity could cost you $10 million is going to put a stop to a lot of this type of content. And I, for one, am extremely thankful for it and hopeful that it's going to stop the people who have been going after me, and I'll finally be able to move forward and pull my life back up again, because it's a nightmare being accused of something that you didn't commit, especially when it's so very clear. Like, even when they were going through the court records, they were having to switch things to make it look like I was more guilty, because they had nothing. They were just straight making things up. I was receiving death threats. Like, my therapy has increased from once a month to once a week, and it stayed at once a week for 5 years now. When I was homeless, I was only seeing my therapist once a month. Since all of this started, I had to start seeing him once a week. Like, it was, they're going to downplay it, but I've been saying for years the traumatic, dramatic impact that this has had on my life, and that I feel like it's going to have on my life for the rest of my life. And they've never understood. But hearing the court does understand that kind of pain, because all of the things that the TikTok psychic was using as a defense are the same things that the people targeting me have been using as a defense. She questioned the PTSD diagnosis. She's just calling everything into question, right? Which is, they've many times questioned the actual effect that what they've done has had on me. And it's frustrating to have somebody hurt you that deeply and then question how deeply you've actually been hurt, because they simply don't believe that they've done that. Sorry, I needed to talk about that when I heard that the case had finalized and that was the verdict, because that's so much better than what I had hoped would happen. I mean, I knew, obviously we all knew that she wasn't going to win, but $10 million sets a precedent that other creators are going to back down in the future. And I have a future because of this $10 million verdict for a woman who I will never meet. I would like to thank her for going through the process and going through the trial and all of the bullshit of having to be in the courtroom with that woman for 3 days. Everything that you have done for you has also been for so many other people who have been accused and humiliated and targeted and harassed just like you, but didn't have the money to do anything about it or didn't have the willpower to do anything about it. So much is going to change for so many people because of this verdict. And I'm one of those people. So this is being added on because my brain kind of froze up when I was making the video, and I didn't articulate what I was trying to say when I said that a lot of the things that she said, they're saying are the exact same excuses that the people targeting me have said. So I'm going to give an example for that because they're going to comment on this and say, well, you didn't articulate a single thing. One of the things that she was trying to claim is that she didn't personally threaten anybody. All she did was make this opinion that she believed and make it public for other people, and she can't control what other people do. Adonis Paul, Original Owl have both made this claim that they can't control what other people do, and they're not personally threatening me themselves. The response to court the response to that argument in court would be the accusation itself is the threat, which is something that I think I've said in the past, and they shot down as being bullshit. So hearing it held up in court, big. So big for me. I remembered another specific thing that I wanted to add on again. I should probably just remake the entire video, but so during the trial, they asked the TikTok psychic, as she was reporting all of her beliefs and opinions on TikTok, why didn't she report them to the authorities? Like, she believes she knew all of these things, but she didn't take it to the actual police investigating the crime for a while. And her response was they were overwhelmed and they didn't have time to go through all of the evidence that I had. So I thought I would just do it for them, but they wouldn't give me the evidence they had. How many times in the past 5 years have I made videos saying, tell the police, tell the authorities, if you have this information, if you know these things, you should go to the actual authorities about it. You are not police. There is a full investigation already done on this. They have all of the cases. They have, like, if you go to the actual authorities, they have more information than you do because there was a full investigation on the murder when it happened, and when the trial closed, all of those cases were just kind of locked up. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The question of why didn't you go to the authorities? And for me, the response they've always given is, well, they don't care. Sounds about the same as, well, they're overwhelmed, doesn't it? Because if you ask Adonis Paul why he never told the police the proof he had that I committed a murder and got away with it, his response is going to be, they know and they just don't care. I think that if you believe somebody got away with murder, even if you believe the police know about it, you should still report it so that your voice is heard. The only reason you wouldn't is if you were blatantly lying and only want to say those things to people who can't get you in trouble for saying them, but might pay you for saying them. Like somebody's abusive family who wants them tarnished for life. Because what's the other thing that Adonis Paul loves to say? The internet is forever, which means your false accusations of murder are also forever. Which is unfortunately the situation I'm in. These accusations made about me are forever. They are for the rest of my life. Even if Adonis Paul never makes that claim again, deletes all the evidence off of his channel that he ever said it, even if Original Owl deletes her entire channel, even if my aunt deletes her channel, even if they all completely expunge themselves from the internet, I will still have people coming to me every day for the rest of my life and either accusing me of murder or questioning me about murder. And it's not a hypothetical murder. It's one that I actually experienced and got traumatized from and have to re-experience every time. I have to explain to somebody why my name is brought up in involvement with a murder. And it was not before, because they barely talked about me in the news reports. And they only gave my name in like one. I was only associated with this murder because Adonis Paul and Original Owl accused me of being responsible for it because my Aunt Kathy told them to and then paid them to. Because this has gone on for 5 years. My aunt has been paying Adonis Paul for 4.5 of those years. Because once he realized that it really was bullshit, he really was lying to people about a murder, he started to back off. And since my aunt is actively paying him every month to keep going, he can't fully back off. It is what it is. But what it is bullshit. Because it's something that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. And nobody should have to go through this just because somebody else online needs money.